pooping outside. Let's see. What else is there to show? Let's show this. See this blue thing? Oh, this blue thing is super sweet. I have a hammock in here, okay? Yeah, you guys thought it was going to be like a normal thing. No, I have a fully functioning hammock in this thing. Let's start with that real quick. I should have started with that to begin with. So, all right. Demonstrating hammock. Give me a second here. So, here is our hammock. And it's got two settings on it. You can either sit in the hammock with the back seat up, which will give your knees something to prop up on, which is kind of nice. See how I'm in the hammock right now? I'm fully stretched out, pretty much. Or you can sleep with or you can be in the hammock with this part down, and I can stretch out all the way in this thing, fully. Like I am 100% fully stretched out in this Jeep Liberty, which looks very small from the outside. It's a really neat thing. Let's see. So, hammock, pretty sweet. What else is there? Let's see. I could show you guys my passenger seat. Hold on, give me a sec to get out of this thing. One thing that's kind of nice to do is to burn incense. I'll actually have incense sticks hanging out of the speaker holes right here sometimes. It's kind of nice to burn incense in the back, whenever I'm like working on a project or something like that on my computer, which is fun. By the way that I tie this hammock up, am I upside down? I'm upside down. Okay. The way I tie this hammock up is by wrapping it like this, and then you take the end of the string and you take this and then you put it up here. There's like a little hook back there. You just hook it on the back of this thing, and it keeps this thing out of the way, which is nice. It's also tied to the same bike rack thing. The same thing that the bike lock is attached to, that's what the ends of the hammock are tied to. So that's kind of cool. And I can like work on my computer, I can sit in it, do whatever in this hammock. It's pretty sweet. There's even like room to rock back and forth, which is cool. Okay, let's see, what else? Here's my front seat. There is usually in my front seat I've got my clothes, which I'll have a sort of in like a clean clothes and dirty clothes, and then I've got all my like professional stuff right here. There's a toolbox down here that I use regularly to work on my car, which, by the way, if you're planning on living in a van or a car or a Jeep for an extended period of time, hold on, let's recaffeinate here. Recaffeinate, because this has been 18 minutes now. Okay. If you're ever planning on living in the back of your car or your Jeep or SUV, learn how to work on your car. Learn what your car does. Learn how it does stuff. I've actually just bought this. These are nice. These are a lot better once you have a good foundation from working on stuff, just from having replaced a couple things before. Mostly, when you start getting curious, these books are really good because there's a lot of information in there. In the past 2 years, I've had to replace, and when I say I've had to replace, I mean I literally went in there and replaced it myself. I've had to replace my starter, I've had to replace my alternator, blower motor, battery, thermostat, water pump. Let's see, that's 6. I think there's one more thing. Water pump and radiator fan, radiator hose, What else has had to be replaced? Yeah, and those have all been necessary replacements, as in like many times, I got stuck somewhere because one of these things went out and had to figure out what was going on with it, figure out how to diagnose it, use the voltmeter to figure out, hey, like, the battery's got charge on it, but it's not increasing whenever the car's on, so the alternator must be dead, or something like that. So learning how to work on your car is a really important thing if you plan to live in this thing. And it's really neat. There's a lot of cool stuff. Fixing things is fun. I love learning about cars now, and was never a car person growing up. But now fixing stuff is like, it's fun, it's cool. There is just so much you can learn, and so much money that you can save. That's the best part. You save so much money if you learn how to work on your car by yourself. Let's see. What else? There's a cooler right here. I usually put a cooler, whenever I fold this thing up for a bed, I usually put a cooler and the two headrests sort of like this to sort of prop up, so I can put a pillow here and then my actual pillow right here to make the whole thing flush, so that's actually a bed. Also, this front seat right here is pushed up all the way, okay? It is all the way forward. So that way I've got maximum room back here. What else? Oh, you know what else I've had to replace? I've had to fix this thing because it was like not opening after a while, and I can't remember how I fixed it, honestly. I don't remember how I fixed it. I'm afraid to even look at this point because I don't want to mess it up. So I'll just be happy with the fact that it works and go from there. But it's nice being able to actually open this thing and get out the back now. And so that's another thing I want to talk about, is that whenever you live in your Jeep, it's the little things that really make your day worthwhile. Silly little things like being able to open up the back door and it's sudden and it works now, instead of having to crawl all the way up into the front seat. Which, by the way, I can do this really fast now. Watch this. Watch how fast I can get from the back seat into the front seat. I mean, you literally, step one, feet here, and then step two is just kind of like a, that. Voila, I'm in the front seat. Let's see how fast I can get in the back seat. Watch this. Whoa. Back seat. I'm in the back seat. Oh my gosh, it's so fast. Sort of like a rolling ninja motion. Let's see what else is in here. I have a skateboard and a trombone in here, which I use. I skate pretty regularly. I should play trombone more because I used to be a trombone, I don't want to say a trombone god, but I was extremely good at the trombone. Basically, back in high school and in college, I studied it in college. Got full scholarships. I was the best in my state, 2 years in a row. Or maybe it was the last year I was the best in my state, right? But was in the top 3 my junior year and was in the top 4 my sophomore year. So yeah, or something like that. It's somewhere close. I was really good at freaking trombone. Anyway. Let's see what else is in here that is important. I've got a chair, a folding chair, and then a tent, which I never use either of these items. Just surprising, but after you get used to sleeping in here, pitching a tent is why would I pitch a tent when I can just sleep in my car? I'm already out here in the middle of wilderness. Hey, let's talk about something. Ventilation. Ventilation's really important. And one of the best ways to keep the back ventilated is very simple. Ready? You literally just pop that thing back there, and suddenly all the air in the back just completely circulates. And it's one of the best ways to keep cool when it gets warm outside. One of the things about sleeping in the back is you deal with you deal with the greenhouse effect, okay? So to remedy the greenhouse effect, essentially if there's a window in the sun, even if it's like 20 degrees outside, you know, if your hand is like right here and the sun's shining on the window, your hand gets really warm fast. So sometimes, you know, you want to let air, you know, you want to mitigate the greenhouse effect. And that's a really good way to do it for the back. Man, this is a long video. What else is there? Let's see, toothbrush, mouthwash, deodorant. Hey, let's talk about another thing, okay? This is really important to know. Whenever you live in your Jeep, showering. Let's talk about showering real quick. So whenever you live in your Jeep, you're going to have to get a gym membership, okay? And I currently have a gym membership at the YMCA. I'm planning on getting a gym membership somewhere else because I hate the YMCA. I hate just the feel of it. It's just so, you know, it doesn't feel like a real gym, you know. It's not a gym that I look forward to going to. And so I'm thinking about upgrading to something maybe a little bit better now that I've got some money. But to start off, you want to get yourself a YMCA membership. They usually have discounted memberships if you're poor. And so you need to do this so that you can shower. And one of the most important things about showering, okay, besides the fact that, yes, you want to smell good, okay, obviously, but, you know, one of the really, really, really important things about showering is that it clears your body of staph, okay? And yes, you do have to worry about that stuff whenever you're living in the back of your Jeep. I've already had 3 staph infections, not even in the last couple of, how long has it been? Maybe 5-6 months. Just because I was limiting myself to showering like, I don't know, maybe a couple times a week instead of more often than that, or maybe once a week. Just because I don't, like, I have the magic habit of, like, being able to smell when I smell bad. And it's amazing because I only really start to smell bad after about a week. Just because I have I'm like, very Italian. I have a lot of oil. There's a lot of oil on my skin, and so, you know, that kind of keeps my body lubricated, and it kind of it doesn't, there's not as much like dead skin exposed to the air, essentially. That's why I can manage to smell okay, you know. Obviously deodorant's important. But let's get back to the thing I'm trying to say. So, you know, when you're living in the back, you may end up getting some bugs in here. Like, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what kind of bugs that bite me every once in a while, but I usually get some kind of like tiny itchy bug bite, like one every 2 weeks. Or something like that, you know. It'll just pop up, it'll be itchy, and I'll scratch it. Something kind of like a mosquito bite. Could even be a mosquito bite. I don't know. I think it might be a gnat or something like that. But when you don't shower, okay, or if you go a week without showering, your body builds up staph very fast, okay? And I've had 3 infections so far. In fact, I can show you one right now that I'm dealing with that hopefully I don't have to go to the ER for, which I did have to go for my first one, and it was the most miserable experience. It was terrible. Literally the worst pain I've ever been in my life. But this thing, dude, this is my nipple. I'm not joking. I have a fucking staph infection on my nipple. It's like having a nipple on my nipple. Okay? Look at this shit. What in the hell? And I'm really hoping that it builds a head so I don't have to lance it myself. I did manage to successfully lance the my second staph infection, which was on my arm. But these things leave scars, you know. These little infections, they leave scars on your arm because they kill all the skin around it. And staph can be really dangerous too. I mean, if you leave it, you know, you can get septicemia, you can get sick. Like, it's not good. So you really want to, that's why hygiene is so important. You want to stay showered and all that stuff so you don't get a staph infection, okay? Seriously. I can't even tell you how bad it hurt having to go to the ER for my first one because it wasn't going down and I couldn't lance it myself. And I'm hoping to learn how to lance it myself so I don't have to go back to them because it was very terrible going to them. They basically stab you really, really deep whenever they do it because that's what the doctor has to do. Even though you can clear out most of the infection if you just get down to like where it is and just kind of get the rest out. And you know, your body tends to take care of the rest if you can get the majority component out, pretty much. Let's see, what else is there? There's probably something else. I want to get all of this covered in one video. Hey, this is my stethoscope from when I used to be in medical school. It's got my name engraved on it. Can you believe that? I used to be in medical school. I was going to be a doctor. And that didn't work out because I'm a math person and I needed a lot more something. I needed to not try to be a doctor. I wish I'd known that at the time. So what else is there? There's gotta be something else. There's totally something. There's always something else. You know, that might be it. That might be it. I think, oh, you know what? Hey, also I have a stove, a butane stove, and pot and pan and stuff like that. So you can cook. I can cook outside, not inside. Do not cook inside your van or your Jeep. Do not do that shit. I repeat, do not do that shit, okay? Because carbon monoxide is heavier than air and it will sit at the bottom, okay? And you might think you're okay, you might think you're doing okay, and then you go to sleep and the carbon monoxide level is up to here. You're sleeping below here and then you're dead, okay? Never cook inside your car. It's the worst possible thing you could do. I've read forums online where people are reporting that they had friends that have died this way. Just from literally just trying to, I don't know, warm like a teapot in the winter, which is pretty tempting sometimes. If it's cold outside, you really want something hot. And it's too cold to even sit the damn thing outside because, you know, in 19-degree weather and it's windy, the butane stove is not going to heat anything up. Always cook outside, never cook inside for any reason. Cooking, food, stuff, traveling, things. Oh, hey, let's talk about where I'm parked. So see this? I'm literally just parked. I have no idea where the hell this is. I'm like, there was some gravel road up on some land. And the cool thing about Texas is there are like always gravel roads leading onto land that nobody is even dealing with, you know, because a bigger construction company is managing it at the time and they have no idea what the hell they're going to be doing for like the next year, essentially. And so like there will be all this land and you can just drive on top of it. And you know, I mean, probably at some point I'm going to get caught, but I'm just gonna like leave after I get caught and finally have gotten caught doing this. But you know, I only do this usually on like construction sites or if there's like a gravel driveway onto some land that is empty, because it's nice whenever you're parked on like all this land. It kind of feels like having a house on land, you know, and you're away from everybody. And it's just nice. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's peaceful. And peace is something that can be tough to find when you're living in your car, because there's always cars and stuff driving by. Um, you have to sleep in parking lots sometimes, and sometimes you end up in some area of Dallas where people like to drive like extremely fast, and you're just like, and cars are whizzing by really, really fast, and you're trying to sleep, and you're just like, you know, so that can happen. But yeah, peace is good. I've found that suburbs are like really where it's at. Like if you can find a developing suburb, okay, outside a city somewhere, then you are least likely to run into any frustrations and most likely to end up with the peace that you really desire in your heart. So, on the subject of peace, I think we are done. It's been 36 minutes now. This is a really long YouTube video, but this is literally everything, like a whole crash course lecture, pretty much, on Jeep life. And I think I've given you guys the vast majority of tidbits of knowledge that I can offer from my 2 years of living in my car. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And feel free to message me if you have any questions. If you're also living in your car and you're looking for advice, absolutely message me, okay? And I will do my best to get back to you. I'll give you guys good knowledge as best as possible. And yeah, hope you guys are doing great out there in YouTube land. And take care. Peace. Cheers. Sayonara. See ya.